Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Book Gentlemen, the podcast where we use our decades of comic book experience to discuss the most divisive issues in nerddom. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm joined once again by my co-host, Dave. Say hello, Dave.
Hello.
And today, we have a very interesting episode. So, the most common thing when you're a kid and you're a big fan of superheroes and whatnot is trying to figure out who is the best. Who is the best hero? Who is the best story? Who is the best costume? All that stuff. There's been many a nerd fights about this. Am I right, Dave?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I can.
Yeah,
I can.
which was the best version of the Hulk?
Yeah.
You know, was the black suit of Spider-Man better than the original?
Yeah. So today's episode, what Dave and I tasked each other with is we are assembling what we think is the best Avengers team. So Dave put together a roster, and I put together the roster. So this is going to be our debate on who would make the best, avenging group of superheroes to defend the whole planet.
Yes.
So
Earth's mightiest heroes.
Earth's mightiest heroes, according to Dave and Greg. And then basically what we're going to do is Dave's going to introduce a member of his team. He's going to explain why he thinks they are very important to the team and what he thinks they bring. And then I will tell him why he's wrong. And then I will mention a character that's way better. And then he will tell me why he thinks he's wrong. I'm wrong. We're going to go kind of a back and forth that way. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. And at the end, we'll do a full breakdown of both of our team. And then feel free to mention in the comments who you think is right. And we'll see who is the Nick Fury of our area. Yeah, the true Nick Fury. You can be the old white man. I want to be Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fun. All right, we'll go with that. So yeah, Dave, take it away. Who's your first member?
Well, my first member, I had to go with the Avenger of all Avengers, who I just about booted off the team.
Oh wow, starting off great.
Strangely enough. Was of course Captain America.
Really?
Okay. In my opinion, you can't have an Avengers team without Captain America. In fact, you can't have an Avengers team with a couple of the people that I'm going to mention, but we're going to start with Captain America.
Okay.
The reason why I went with him, he's obviously not the strongest, most powerful Avenger that's ever been. He certainly ranks above certain people like Hawkeye and Black Widow, who I personally never understood why they were even on the team, considering their lack of just super abilities. Period. I can't imagine Thanos, being really scared of a couple arrows and some shock treatment from Black Widow. But he certainly is the height of human potential. He's stronger than your average guy. He's faster than your average guy. I think the two things that really stuck out for me was his tactical ability to organize, people that maybe aren't so organized. Direct them in, especially combat. But mainly just as an inspiration, because you always see Captain America as that inspirational character who, doesn't have the super strength, or some kind of defining superpower that can turn the tide. It's more the fact that he has that indomitable will, just will not give up, and is just that overall inspirational leader.
Okay, so do you have him pegged as like your go-to leader, or is he more like just a strategic leader?
I would see him more as the strategical leader. Mm-hmm. Like in the field, in the middle of a fight, that's the guy you're going to turn to. He's battle hardened, although only against Nazis.
Hey, he's fought some aliens, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, now he has, yes.
Yeah.
I would certainly say that he's the guy you would turn to in those moments. As far as leadership, I took it as more of a collaboration between what are my big three.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like, you don't want. Well, it's debatable, right? Because to me, I think a good leader is somebody who can take stuff from other people and use it. But in my mind, you definitely want like one person that, like, if you have to make a final call, you want that person to make the final call. And I can see why Cap would be a good choice for that. My issue is like, do you think he represents too much America? Because, like, to me, Avengers is Earth's mightiest heroes, not America's mightiest heroes. So that's one of the reasons I thought
America is Earth.
yeah, according to Marvel, everything that happens not even just America, happens in New York. That's the only place it happens. See,
it's funny that you bring that up, because I thought about that. And I also thought about some of the other people that you will not find on my list.
Interesting.
That I find are more dedicated to particular things over the bigger picture of the Avengers.
Okay.
And I think just reading through and seeing, Captain America throughout the years, he does have that, even though he has the moniker of, Captain America, he still is able to say, this is the greater good. And that might not be the greater good for America, but it's the greater good, period.
So like a moral compass as well.
Yeah, and that was one of the big things. I mean, you're looking for a moral compass. The guy is a Boy Scout. It's him and Superman. Just, as far as DC versus Marvel, here you go. Here's the guys that will just never do anything wrong knowingly. As they move through the years and have moved through the years.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I definitely thought about Captain America a lot. My biggest issue was just he literally has America in the name, and I felt like that was too on the nose. Like when I started thinking about the team, what I really wanted to focus on was trying to make it like international or like not just one country, and like I try to have a representation from multiple places. Yeah. So my leader, what I decided to go with, I kind of went the same route as you when it came to like, do they already have leadership like experience and whatnot? So what I actually chose, I ended up with Captain Marvel, and so it's a little bit American still, but like to me, Captain Marvel is, she was in the military, she's a captain, she has military experience leading people and whatnot, but then she also has an intergalactic element to it. Like she has her powers from space. She's spent a long time in space. I feel like that's really going to be key when she's leading the team, when most of the threats the Avengers are facing come from space and are on that intergalactic threat level. I feel like Captain America, while he probably has a better moral compass, especially when you look at how he dealt with Civil War as compared to Captain Marvel, how she dealt with her Civil War, like I would agree Captain America made better choices. I feel like when it comes to larger scale things, which the Avengers should be facing on a more regular time, she would be the one you'd want more often because she just has more experience in that level of stuff. The other thing I really think that puts her in the leadership role for me is that the fact that she's that powerful means that if she has dissension in the rank from other powerhouses, she's able to go toe to toe and can kind of go like, no, you should respect me because I can put you on your ass if I need to, type of thing.
Right.
And I do think she'd be willing to work with other people if she needs to, and make a better decision. But I think if you need somebody to actually like be the final decision, I think she'd be the one you kind of want.
Right. I found I kind of toiled with some of the elements that you brought up. But as far as Captain Marvel was concerned, I like obviously the overall power level is great. The abilities, I agree with the leadership. What I found was when I was looking back and really looking at some of the decisions that she made, and also Iron Man, some of the other Avengers that are notable powerhouses that have been in some form of a leadership role, I just didn't feel like she quite cut it. That she's made bad choices. I don't know if it was bad writing. or what in that Civil War too, but I just feel like her and Iron Man were just like completely misrepresented wholly in that entire series. And it's funny that they bring the Avengers team back together and they just kind of like high five and like
we're cool now.
We're cool now. Sorry I put you in a coma.
Yeah, and hey,
we're good. Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah.
But I just found where she lacked, I felt Captain America just took it to that whole other level because of the inspiration. I get the America thing because I use the same reason to keep other people off the team.
Yeah.
But I think it was just the inspiration, the leadership, and the fact that Captain America is not the most powerful guy, but he's not afraid to tell Thor where to go.
Which I can see that would be like, I can see why. It just, I feel like Captain Marvel, when push comes to shove, like, I mean, think about how often in the Avengers or whatever comic book the good guys get brainwashed or anything like that. At least she'd be able to, like, not only tell Thor where to go, but she had the physical capabilities to tell Thor, like, to push Thor down.
Tell Thor,
not tell Thor, but like, with her fists, type of thing. Yeah. But I can see what you're saying about, like, maybe she's not the most polished leader. Like, I can definitely see that, but I also feel like where she is in the comic books now is more like she's taken her lumps and she's learning, so that she will be a good leader, especially when you consider the rest of my team as we keep going. Yeah. So our first disagreement on the leader. Let's see how this goes.
Done.
Yeah, done.
This is going downhill real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Funny enough, I'll just leap off of that because I did have Captain Marvel on the team.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't have her as a leader.
I didn't have her as a leader. I would very quickly and easily agree that she would fall into that. Captain America gets one punch by just about anybody, and you need somebody to step up as a leader. There you go. There's Captain Marvel again. I think just from a character basis, she's a fantastic character. It's unfortunate it took this long for them to get around to putting her in the front lines and saying, hey, look at this character who is just as much a deep, wonderful character as some of these long-term characters like Captain America, Spider-Man, and so on and so forth. And I hope they continue to push her. She's got a great set of powers, obviously, flight, energy, blasts. You got the durability, the superhuman strength. If you're talking about the movies, she had like some of the more epic, fights in the very last one with Endgame when she went toe to toe with Thanos. That was awesome. I think that at the end of the day, she does bring that that intergalactic element. But when I thought about the Avengers, because I really looked at the Avengers and I was like, but then that newfangled kind of Ultimates team and the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was thinking about all these guys, and I thought, like, these are, to me, were Earth's, mightiest heroes. Yeah, they might fight some intergalactic stuff, but they're not really, to me, it's like there are other teams that can deal with that stuff out there. They only deal with it if it comes to Earth. That's the way I was looking at it. I thought, if you're gonna go out to another planet and deal with that stuff, it was like, to me, it was more like the Ultimates. The newfangled Ultimates that they did there for a while, or the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Which, I wasn't saying like I'm gonna send my team out into space. I just meant most of the big time threats come from space.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why I was very like, hey, we need somebody who has experience in this.
Yeah, Thanos is definitely not from Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe like he's like kind of Grimace's ugly stepchild or something like that.
Yes, who was abducted.
Who's abducted.
And then came back.
Yeah.
But no, it's. I think she brings a much needed power set element to the table, and she's also another person that from a leadership standpoint can voice an opinion that is rooted in strategics, leadership, all that kind of stuff. And again, like I see that group as everybody's kind of carrying the weight a little bit. Yeah, you might have one person that's that figurehead, but at the end of the day, the all-round character had to be on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I had her on the team. I just had her in a more leadership role, so I can't argue too much against your decision, considering how we kind of had a similar decision. So I'm surprised. Like I thought we'd all be different, like right across the board. But hey, at least we can agree on one thing, right? Captain Marvel's pretty cool. So
one and that's it.
One and that's it. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. So yeah, speaking of one you're probably not going to agree with me on. So another area that was a potential danger that I wanted to make sure I had my base covered for was the Nine Realms. And so I really was like, okay, we need somebody who has experience in the Nine Realms, deal with the elves, the dark elves, and the ice giants and whatnot in case they come in and mess things up. I also felt like because Asgard has such strong connections with Earth, it made sense to have an Asgardian on the Avengers. Like, I mean, for a while there, Asgard was on Earth. I don't know if it still is or not. I can't remember. I don't think so.
No.
Because it was Siege when it... Yeah, because I think
it's
it left.
It's been blown up so many times I can't keep track.
Yeah, and so I originally thought, okay, yeah, of course, why not have Thor? I mean, he's strong, everybody likes him, why not? But then I was like, but he's a prince of Asgard, and he will eventually be king of Asgard, so in my mind, Thor was too busy to be a part of the Avengers. Like, another thing I really wanted to focus on was like, okay, I want to make sure I don't have people who are going to be too busy with their own stuff to be ready when the Avengers need them. Right. So what I decided for my Asgardian I want on my team, I actually chose Valkyrie. Because I felt like Valkyrie was, she's also a powerhouse. She's an Asgardian, so she's powerhouse. She's fairly likable. Like, whenever you read her in the comics, it seems like most people get along with her and whatnot. So she can pretty much work in a team. And like I said, she really has, like, even if she's not as high powered as Thor, she still has that Asgardian connection that she can help inform the team and help the team deal with Nine Realms threats, but without the issue of, I have to go deal with my own kingdom right now, so bye. So I feel like Valkyrie would be a really good part of the team.
You want Avengers that are just like chilling,
like ready to go. I do have a couple people on my team that you could argue don't like have that problem. It's like, why would I have them on the team? But I have counter arguments for that. But I feel like Thor, especially because I think right now he is the king of Asgard. So I feel like Thor would just be too busy. So it's like you have I feel like being a king is different than, being a prince. Princes probably be fine, but because he's a king, he doesn't have time. And I feel like Valkyrie would be able to slot into that role pretty well. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
I like the choice. It's a little bit of a surprise choice. I get the reasoning and the having that Asgard connection. The only thing that I would say is power level, certainly strong, can hold her own. It would be just, does she have that authority level? Like, she's got connections, but does she have the authority to rally people in Asgard? Or is there going to be a lot of diplomacy and debating have to go on, and some convincing to get say a group of people, or even Thor himself, to step in and help with whatever issue that they're dealing with at that time? It would just be that. But I have to give it to you. That is sound reasoning. I really can't disagree with it. Other than I would just say the authority level.
Yeah, like I could see what you're saying about that. It's definitely one of those things where, like, if they really needed Asgard's help, it would be nice to actually have the king on your team and be like, no, you have to do what I say. I just feel like when I was building the team, I wanted a core group of people that wouldn't need people's help as much. Right. Like, I wanted my core group to be like, hey, we should be able to take care of everything. But then we still have connections if we really have, like, if it's that dire we can branch out. But I was kind of hoping it's more about her, not her connection to Asgard, but more just her history with Asgard, that she knows, like, how to deal with ice giants and how to deal with dark elves.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so that was my random one. Actually, no, I have a more random one. My wild card, I'm going to leave my wild card to the end.
Okay, fair enough.
You go next.
I will build off that and say, another member of the big three, Thor. Yeah, Thor is my thumper, powerhouse. Yeah. I looked at him and I thought, like, okay, he's kind of like Hulk, but with a brain.
Well, it depends
I think his character's become a little bit more than that now, because I mean, he's the king of Asgard. He's got the Odin power. He's now super jacked up, and which will be a common theme through most of my picks.
Just the strongest, yeah.
This team can handle anything.
Yeah, it's like when you have those cards that have the power levels on the back, and you chose all of them, just had maxed out.
Yeah,
strange.
just 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of
Right
10.
across the board.
Yeah.
But I just found, again, there are three individuals which anybody would know that I couldn't leave off the team because it's just, to me, it's just being a traditionalist. They are the Avengers. They're those cornerstones. Thor being one of them, obviously, is your powerhouse. I think over the years now, he's not as dullard as they presented him in the early years. I think he's actually got some wisdom and some thought to him now. But he's certainly not afraid to step in and tell some other members of the Avengers when he feels like morally maybe they're going in the wrong direction. One of the reasons I agree, being King Thor now, you got a lot of other duties to deal with, and that's why I ended up going with 7, because I thought at some point one of these guys is going to be like I got some other stuff to deal with, and they might not be there. And they still have to be able to, hold up, if they're short a member. And I felt with Thor, it was like, he's just all around, just a powerhouse. Maybe not the smartest guy on the team, but certainly, his fighting skills, durability, being able to, wield the Odin Force, his strength. He's right up there with all of your guys that might produce a big problem for the team, such as the Hulk going on a rampage, or Thanos, or some of these other powerhouses. He can physically go toe to toe with those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is fair. Like I said, I feel like the biggest issue with Thor is just his level of responsibility, especially right now. Obviously in the comics they've shown in the past when he's had responsibility, he's still able to make time. But again, that's more like comic book magic, that they're able to be on multiple teams at the same time, type of thing, that they kind of wash over sometimes.
I'm pretty sure Wolverine was on like every team.
Every team, yeah, exactly, right? Like I feel like if this was like real life, like build a team, I feel like he'd be too busy to kind of help in. The other thing I was going to mention is that one of the things I really want to do with my team was try to be as diverse as possible in my powers and whatnot, so that you kind of had like a jack of all trade type of team to deal with anything. And I feel like what my counter argument for Thor would be like, well, you have Captain Marvel that would be that powerhouse for you, so why do you need Thor as well? Admittedly, I have Valkyrie to be a secondary powerhouse, but I don't know, just kind of picking at straws there, because like I said, I was thinking about Thor too. So
I as I was going through it, and I was like, okay, who are some of these former members? I started looking at favorites and guys that I thought were always kind of like oddball choices to be on the Avengers, that were kind of like neat characters to have on the Avengers. And that's why Captain America was almost cut. I almost cut him because he just wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
He wasn't top, because I was putting together a team that was just like, okay, these guys can just squash anything that gets put in front of them.
Yeah, which is what you want. Yeah,
that's the direction I went. Like I never understood. Like, okay, you got a team of guys, and okay, you took out this guy, you took out Thor, you took out all these powerhouses, and now you're left with just like Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye.
What is he gonna do? I wanted them to have to like, okay, you put down all these guys. Well, no, you've now just got the next powerhouse stepping up.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Like, it needs to be higher level. Like, it can't just be street level or espionage. That's not what the Avengers should be doing, right?
No.
Speaking of a powerhouse, so this one is kind of going against my rule of they have responsibility, so they may not have time for the Avengers. However, I feel like this person would be, because I feel like their responsibility coincides with the Avengers. So I actually have Doctor Strange on my team.
Okay.
So my reasoning behind this, he's the Sorcerer Supreme, so he's theoretically the most powerful magic user on Earth. His job is to protect Earth from multidimensional, like Dormammu and whatnot, which the Avengers should be helping him with anyways. And I honestly feel like magic is so important because of how much it can do. Like, you can use it offensively, you can use it defensively. If you need to teleport people, you can teleport. If you need to heal people, you can heal people. Like, I feel like you have to have a magic user on this team, considering the threats they potentially face. And I feel like Doctor Strange is the best magic user that he should be on the team, and
Yeah.
because, like I said, his job already is to protect Earth, that he shouldn't be distracted by the Avengers to not also do his Sorcerer Supreme stuff.
Right.
So that's why I had Doctor Strange. Also a sick goatee, so that's why I had Doctor Strange.
Very, very sick.
Very sick goatee.
I thought about this element. I thought long and hard. I was like, okay, you got Scarlet Witch, you got Doctor Strange, you got a number of people that have done the magic thing, and ultimately I just settled on magic is dumb.
All right, explain your thought process behind this.
It's just no, I get it, and I understand it. It's just it for me it was like it's one of those things that like in the Avengers, most of the time when they encounter that, or any other team encounters it, that's when they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is something that's just weird and different. Let's call Doctor Strange. And it's like it just they don't utilize him on a regular basis. I don't know how many times he's been like on but off the team, because he's, you know, to your point, often wandering around in other dimensions doing his own thing.
Yeah.
So like the only time they actually utilize him is like, oh, there's magic, called Doctor Strange. You know, it's not like they go, oh, hey, I mean, different than the movies, but you know, there's not times where you go, oh, hey, wait a minute, you know, we're fighting Thanos or Galactus and stuff, and you're going, oh, hey, call up Doctor Strange.
But they should.
Maybe they should. But that again, that's why I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go with this massive powerhouse team. Not that he's not I imagine a powerhouse with like his abilities, but to me it was just I just the magic element. I kept coming back to it, and it kept circulating characters on and off the team as I was thinking about it. Probably overthought this idea way too much before I just finally, I think my head was hurting, and I just like,
You just got angry.
Dumb.
You just got angry with it, and you're like, I'm done with it.
I got angry, and I kicked him off the team, along with every other magic user.
See,
the team, and said, hey, we'll call you.
See, I feel bad for Doctor Strange because the way you say that, it's true. He's like that guy that he's like, oh, you're playing backup on our baseball team, but then like we'll let you know if there's an injury, and then just never. But like he'll help you move if you need him to, but you don't want him actually hang out with them. Like I feel bad for him now. But you see, that's the reason I wanted him on the team, is because magic's so dumb that if they actually used it properly, they would be able to take out Thanos easier. It's like, come on.
Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you know what? Of all the characters out there, he's probably the one that I understand the least, because I never just read, you know, Doctor Strange comics. It was only ever, you know, like Spider-Man's dealing with something that he just doesn't understand. It's from the Mystic World. Oh, go to Doctor Strange.
Go to Doctor Strange.
You know, he's always the default go-to guy when it comes to this stuff. And I just thought, like, how often does it crop up, you know, that you definitely 100% need him? I felt like I could kind of get away with it. Seeing as he's doing his own, like, I'm defending the Earth anyways from magic stuff, that I could just go, you know what, park him on the side, let him do his magic thing full time. If we need you, we'll call you. And move on with life.
Yeah, see, I disagree. I think you should have him there in the building, off the bench. Doctor Strange, you're getting off the bench. You're now my star pitcher. You know, get up there, buddy. Let's go. Like, I feel like he's underutilized and he should be used more. And again, like, I feel like magic just has that like, you can heal, you can teleport. Do you have anybody on your team that's kind of like the utility person?
No.
They're just all
like, just you'll see there's a flavor here.
Okay.
And I will throw out the guy that just about, or the person that just about took Captain America's spot.
Oh, really?
As a bonus.
Oh, nice.
I'll throw that one in there.
Okay. So we'll say that for last. So who's your next guy on your team?
To finish off the big three, Iron Man.
Oh, I thought you said the big three were Captain America, Marvel, and Thor.
No, Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor are the cornerstone of any Avengers team. Have to have those three because I'm old and that's what I'm used to.
Okay, boomer. Yeah. Here's your three old white men. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. This is the least diverse team of all time. obviously, the intelligence plays into it. You always need that comical element.
He's the funny one.
Yeah, well, he's the funny one when it's the movies. In the actual comic, he's just a snarky, sarcastic a-hole that for the most part, if you really, really dig down, he often causes a lot of these problems.
Yeah.
By going in a different direction. But that's also why I chose him, because he thinks differently than a lot of these guys do. Like he just doesn't think the same as Captain America. Oh, it's always about this moral compass and you got to do this. Like he's willing to make sacrifices in a different direction if he thinks that it'll get to the end result faster, quicker and better. Plus, I mean, again, he's a powerhouse as far as the armor is concerned. You get him out of the armor, that's a completely different story. But he's in the armor. I mean, he can again go toe to toe with Thor. He can go, fight the Hulk, probably lose. But
he can try.
He can at least try.
What was that scene in Ultron? Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's for me he's another founding member that I just had to have on there. Again, he fit the overall mode of what I apparently was going for, which was just I need just powerhouses galore on this team, and that is it.
So you actually mentioned a lot of the reasons why I didn't want Iron Man on my team, and so like I thought about Iron Man for like half a second, then I was like, no, that's stupid. Why would Iron Man ever be on the team? Like I don't understand why he's on the team now. Like he causes so many problems, and it's all his fault most of the time. I mean, I guess like there's differences in the comic book from the movies. Like I mean, Ultron was made by Hank Pym in the comics than compared to the movies. But at the same time, it feels like most of the time in the comics, it's him, like you said, trying to speed things up and cut corners that causes the friction between his teammates. That's like, why are you doing it this way? And the other issue I had with him is like, yes, I agree you need the tech. Like if you don't have somebody on your team who knows how to hotwire a car, like you're probably going to have a problem. So that I was like, yeah, you definitely need tech. But again, I felt like Tony Stark should be too busy because he has a freaking international company that, should be busy. Like I'd be fine with having Tony more as the Doctor Strange of my group, like what he is now, where he's the guy you call when you need him, but I wouldn't want him in the building all the time type of thing. Like if we had like some crazy tech where it's like, hey, our current people can't figure it out or they just need extra hands, can you come in? I'd be fine with that, but I wouldn't want him in the building all the time, causing problems, pissing everybody off, and getting drunk all the time. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, Captain Marvel needs somebody to drink with. So,
I guess. She has Rhodey. She has Valkyrie. Valkyrie will drink the crap drink so much with her. What are you talking about?
You see, for those reasons, I get it. But he's in the building. He has, yes, certainly caused his fair share of shit. But how many times has he, like, also at the same time, saved everybody's asses?
Once or twice, but like once or twice.
So this is the way I look at it: more adventures, because he caused the problem.
We need content. You
need more content, so you need Iron Man to get in there, do those morally ambiguous things to cause stuff, and then you need Captain America to come in, with the rest of them go, hey, this was stupid, but thanks for giving us something to do, and then they go.
We were really bored.
Yeah, we
were bored.
They go deal with it. You're right. I was thinking about like levels of like that street level. I was like, God, I don't have that. I don't have that Hawkeye. I don't have that. I have got Captain America, but he hasn't probably hot wired a car since the 20s or the 30s. So okay, you can't count on him. Well, Iron Man could definitely do that. So
yeah,
But then again, most of my people, that I picked. I mean, if there's a locked door, they just knock it down.
Fair enough.
They don't need to sneak around.
Yeah.
This is definitely not a sneaky team whatsoever.
Yeah. Like, I guess hot wiring a car definitely made it sound street level. What I meant more was hot wiring a nuclear missile is more like what you need to worry about with the Avengers. So that was definitely a bad analogy on my part. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. You need a tech person. I just don't think Tony is the right one. Like, I just think it's going to be too many issues. So my tech person that I decided on. So what's the most technologically advanced nation in the world? Wakanda. You gotta have a Wakanda.
Yeah. Okay.
So I, and again, was like, okay, so I want to have Wakanda. It adds, an international flavor to it. It's not all just from the States. You need somebody smart. They're the most technologically advanced nation in the world. But I didn't want Black Panther because, again, he's a king. He's busy. He has a lot of stuff going on. He's not going to be available all the time. So
he's always going to put Wakanda first.
He's always going to put Wakanda first. So who I decided to add to the team is actually his sister, Shuri. I decided to get Shuri because not only is she's amazing in technology, recently she actually has a lot of Black Panther's same powers. And I feel like, she's intelligent. She's, again, not just America first. She will be able to add another point of view to the team. She has connections. Yes, again, she's a princess, so she still has responsibilities, but not as many responsibilities as, T'Challa would have as king. So I feel like she would be able to be with the Avengers most of the time and help her out. And I mean, you need somebody with vibranium. Vibranium's just broken, so you have to have somebody ready to go with that. So that's who I decided to have as my tech person, and they would cause way less problems than Tony Stark. So there you go.
So less adventures.
Less adventures, yeah, but more safety. So that's that's kind of the key. Sure, but yeah, I decided on Shuri.
Okay. I would say that sure is a bad pick.
Wow, way to try to pun that.
That was my inner Tom speaking.
Oh, jeez.
A mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
The only I get the tech side. Yeah, when you said that name, or when you even started mentioning it, I was like, oh, that's where we're going here. I get it absolutely from the tech perspective. Nobody's going to listen to her.
See,
she's going to be a utility person that they go like, hey, can you fix my cell phone? And she'll fix the cell phone, and then that's about all she'll
no. Shuri is confident enough to tell Cap Marvel to F yourself. So I feel like the team
isn't.
yeah, I guess. But I feel like Shuri, I can see what you're saying. She's young and doesn't have the same level of respect that especially you're saying the big three have. But I feel like you also need, again, that younger voice to have that in the team and add that point of perspective.
Okay.
But I mean, like you said though, there's gonna be way less Avengers anyways. So there are adventures. So it's not like they're gonna have to talk a lot anyways. So. Yeah,
she's gonna have lots of time to fix whatever they put in front of her. Because it's Tony Stark's not there causing problems.
Exactly. It's just she's solving problems even just by being there. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, can you put vibranium in my iPhone? I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. And every time I drop it, it won't break.
Yeah, just bounce around and kill somebody. Yeah. It'd be great. Yeah, I think she'd be great for the team.
Okay. Well, speaking of tech, there's nobody more tech than my next pick, which is Vision.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Now, getting back to the, going through the process and trying to pick these people, and I was like, you can't have Vision if you don't have Scarlet Witch, and you got to have, a certain amount of, diversity on the team. And then I was like, why am I trying to pigeonhole this team? I just want the powerhouses. Scarlet Witch, go away. I just want Vision.
Speaking of causing problems, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. I mean, the power set is unlimited. He just does everything. Again, I don't know how many times he's had his system hacked, and he more adventures, and he's not the relied upon powerhouse so if somebody were to actually take him over, the rest of the team could certainly take him out. But it just his overall power set, he's kind of I guess I kind of look at it and say he's a mix of kind of Captain America from a kind of a moral standpoint, but he's got that technical, logical side that Tony Stark brings. So he's kind of like a mix of both, and is often the person that, when everybody's in a fight, he's the one that kind of steps in and says the right thing and calms everybody down. And then he gets hacked and then starts attacking the team. So,
man, your team causes a lot of problems.
I was looking for, I mean, this comic would be weekly because there just constantly would be stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I went with Vision just because I like the character too. I mean, a lot of these characters, I was like, that one's always been, one of my favorite Avengers. Gotta have that person on team. Again, fits the bill. He is a powerhouse. So if the other powerhouses or a powerhouse is taken out, he's another one that could just step in and go at it.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I actually forgot Vision existed. Like, didn't even appear in my mind, because that's how little I care about Vision. Like,
wow.
he's just so nothing to me. And I was just like, yeah, I until you mentioned his name, never would have thought of him. Because in my mind, like, why do you need him? Because like you said, there's people stronger. There's people who have tech like Tony Stark and, like I said, Shuri and whatnot. Like, to me, Vision is just there to cause problems. Like, he's the guy that Thanos is trying to rip his skull off. And if they hadn't wasted time in Infinity War trying to save him while also getting the Infinity Stone out of him, they would have done better. But because they're too busy, trying to save Vision, it just caused so many issues.
That's the thing is, like, in the comics, it isn't an Infinity Stone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, so that's I did look at that and I was like, no, it's not an Infinity Stone. And I just think just the variety. I guess what I was looking at is like, you want to talk about like a Swiss Army knife, much like Iron Man to a degree, but not all weapons based. Yeah. He just has a wide variety of powers that come in very handy a lot of the time when he's not hacked and attacking the team.
What is Vision's, maybe this is a different episode, but what is Vision's origin story? Like, I don't even know in the comic books.
He was in the comic books, he was created by Ultron.
Oh, he's evil. Never mind. He's dead to me.
Yeah, he's created by Ultron. But it went sideways. And he actually has the same brainwaves as a fellow Avenger, Wonder Man.
Oh, what? And
that's why there's always that love triangle between Wonder Man, Scarlet Witch, and Vision.
Another Avenger I forget exists is Wonder Man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, like, I don't know. Like, I think that my only argument against Vision, like, I'll agree with you. Like, he has a good power set, and he does add a lot to the table. I just forgot he existed. So that's
but that's okay, because he is like he's a powerhouse who can hold his own.
Yeah.
But when you need that corkscrew out of that Swiss Army knife, you got your Vision right there.
Yeah, I guess he's ready to go. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much I guess I can really say about that one. So other than he's just water. He's water flavor. That's all he's got going for him. So yeah, moving on. My next person. So one of the things I thought about is you're in the middle of a battle. There's chaos happening. You're fighting like either an army of aliens or an army of demons or something like that. There's chaos happening. You definitely want a way to communicate easily amongst everybody. Like, say there's an EMP, knocks out all your technology. I was like, okay, you need a telepath, because a telepath would be able to, communicate with everybody, pass on messages and whatnot. I also was like, okay, I still want, I want to have representation of my Avengers team, make sure all the groups on Earth are as happy as possible. So I was like, okay, we should have a mutant in here.
Okay.
Especially now that the mutants are their own nation. And even though the mutants may not be happy with sharing one and having one on the team, I feel like there's a way.
Now.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a way you can convince them that it's good to have representation. Like, hey, you should have an ambassador. Like, look at what they're doing with like Kitty Pryde and whatnot. So the mutant I decide that's a really strong, good telepath, and not only that, probably needs a break from the shittiness of that island is Jean Grey. I decided to have she's getting hit up by every man on that island. She needs a break. She should come hang out with the Avengers. Obviously she'll still have, not a break in the sense of action, but then break in the sense of action, if you know what I mean. So she's a telepath, so she can communicate with everybody. She's telekinetic, so she's still, really useful in battle. And I think she'd be a really good representative of mutants. So let me hear why that's wrong.
I'm gonna say, like, just knowing writers, that she would be on that team, and then you'd have like 2 other people suddenly vying for her attention.
People who've never looked at her before.
Never looked at her once before, but all of a sudden she's on the team, and it's like, oh, hey, how are you doing?
Like that poor lady, she just needs a break, man.
She just absolutely 100% needs a break. The only thing I think is you'll get a lot of phone calls from the X-Men saying, hey, can we have our telepath back? Because they really don't have, at her level, they really don't have anybody.
They have Professor X, the most powerful telepath.
He doesn't do anything. That's a like
they have
podcast.
They have
that
like
guy for like being the most powerful telepath. I'm throwing up air quotes here. There is. He certainly does nothing. He doesn't. To me, my X-Men. That's about it. That's all he does. I would just say, splitting your time. It just seems, especially now with as you said, the mutant island, and the fact that you look at a lot of these teams, they all have her on it. You've got X-Force, she's on that team. She's on obviously the X-Men team. She just seems to be popping up in every single X-Men comic they can print right now. I think she would run into that issue. I like the mutant thing. I like saying, hey, let's diversify this team and get that mutant on the team. I just don't know if she's the one, because she just seems to be the go-to every time the X-Men are doing anything.
Yeah, see, I think to me that screams more of not that she's that important to the X-Men, but more as the writers just can't think of any other telepaths. Because in my mind, I can think of a bunch of other telepaths that they could use to use in the X-Men. Whereas I can't think of many non-mutant telepaths that anybody else could use. So like I don't think there is. Maybe Doctor Strange can magic some telepathy or something like that. I don't know. He rolls a d20, something happens, right? In my mind, what this agreement is with Jean Grey is, no, she's an Avenger and the mutant ambassador, but she's not going to be on any other team. So that was what I was thinking of. I wasn't thinking she's going to be busy on 6 other teams. I was going to be like, no, you're an Avenger and you just, are our ambassador to the mutants type of thing. So, and like I said, I really feel like she probably needs a break from the drama. So I feel like she'd be great on that. Like the other bad thing I thought about was, what if the Phoenix Force comes again and is like, I'm gonna mess with your life? But the other side to that is, it always feels like it's not really the Phoenix Force's fault. It feels like it's the people wanting the Phoenix Force that cause the problems.
But then she would be on my team because she'd be a powerhouse.
She'd be a powerhouse, yeah. So you wouldn't want Jean Grey, you'd want Phoenix on your team.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, that was my. I feel like her telepathy is really important, and I think she'd be a good mutant ambassador. So. Until Captain Marvel starts hitting on her or something like that.
Yeah. And then the Cyclops gets, upset because somebody's looking at her the wrong way.
Yeah,
and then she dies on that mission, where they think she dies, and then Wolverine gets all upset, and then he shows up and he starts causing problems.
But then turns out Wolverine's the one that killed her because he was brainwashed or something.
Probably
like that.
Because he kills everybody.
Is there any other mutant you think, or maybe do you have a mutant on your team or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Wow, way to just just
again,
apple pie.
I initially went down that road and I was like, okay, I need this and I need that and I need that, and then I think that's why my initial Avengers team was like 27 Avengers because I was trying to like cross off every box, and then I was like, what am I doing? I just want the most powerful people, like people that would be like, oh, those semi-powerful villains are doing something bad. Yeah, that's somebody else's problem. We're waiting for Tony Stark to cause some shit, or we're waiting for Vision to get taken over by somebody, or possibly some other big threat to show up that's worth their time.
This sounds more like what you did is put all the bad kids in their own class, and they're gonna fight each other.
The ultimate good guy,
Captain America's the teacher, and he's like, he flips the chair back and goes, "Okay, kids, let's talk. Let's be friends here." It's like the Breakfast Club Avengers.
Yes, it was the Breakfast Club Avengers, essentially, plus Captain America.
Plus Captain America. Yeah, that's great. That's pretty funny. So who's the next member of your Breakfast Club here?
One of my favorite Avengers of all time. He's had his own comic book, short-lived. He is on the team, off the team, on the team, off the team. But I love a lot of the directions they've taken this character, and his ties to some of the other characters, and that is a previously mentioned adventure, Wonder Man.
Wonder Man. Okay, so tell me, who in the world is Wonder Man? Because the only thing I'm picturing is a guy in a red jacket with glasses.
Yeah, that is the bad Wonder Man.
Okay.
From like the whenever 80s. The new one has like a big W on his chest. It's way cooler. So basically, Simon Williams he is equivalent, like could go toe to toe with the Hulk.
Okay.
He is very, very powerful. They've changed his power sets over the last few years. Like before, it was just like he had strength, he had durability, and then all of a sudden they started manifesting some other powers just to try and make him interesting. At one point, he had like a rocket packs so that he could fly, and then they were like, screw this, he can just fly.
Yeah.
so now he can fly. He can change his body into this like ionic energy. He can absorb energy. And what I really liked at one point. And I'm failing in my my knowledge at this point. Is at one point he was a pacifist.
Oh, okay, that'll help.
So it was always interesting because he always looked for those opportunities to de-escalate, even if he had to get physical, but not to like put somebody down when he could actually just put them down. And then I thought I liked that dynamic. Mm-hmm. I like the dynamic of him and Vision. There was always that love triangle. Get rid of the love triangle. Now they're best friends.
They're best friends. Yeah, I love that.
They're best friends because essentially they're the same person.
That's great.
So we're good. And I've just always loved this character. Don't know why. I always gravitated to him even back in the day when I hated the Avengers and thought they were a silly team. I was like, but that guy's cool. I like him. He ditched the red jacket and the glasses. Cool. He's an actor. He runs his own company. Oh. He's kind of like everything.
Yeah. Who is this guy?
He's Wonder Man.
See, if I may quote Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Scene 5, Act 1, Scene 5, Who? I'm Star-Lord. Who? I'm Wonder Man. Who? So is there a reason why he's constantly off the team? Like, I guess it's just the writers don't like him?
No, there was obviously there were issues with him and Vision, and at one point he was like, screw this, I'm going to go be an actor. That was weird. He has his own company that he's running. Yeah, there's a bunch of really sad, pathetic excuses. He did have a super bad rage issue at one point where the rest of the Avengers had to take him down because he was having some issues.
Wait, didn't you say he was a pacifist?
But yeah, now he's a pacifist. It's just a character that's he's got, in my opinion, cool, set of powers. He's tied to some Avengers, like with the Vision and whatnot, and he's an interesting dynamic for me on the team. I really liked when he could actually turn his body into that full energy. It was kind of cool. At one point, he could even teleport with it. Again, they keep changing him, so I don't even know if he can do any of this stuff anymore. But I'm just gonna say, hey, that one that could do that guy's on my team.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's much like Captain Marvel, Black Panther, until recently, just shitty writing.
Yeah.
Like, they just did not explore,
potential.
somebody who I think is just a great character.
Mm-hmm. The potential of it.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you got the power of the Hulk. Like, you can go toe-to-toe with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But you're a pacifist.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. You're convincing me on him. I just wish I knew who the hell he was. Yeah, this is my issue. So, yeah. So I can't say much against him, but I can't say much for him either.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very interesting. It's definitely not one I expected out of you, especially when you were doing that big intro. I was 100% thought you were gonna say Spider-Man. I was like,
no,
it's just Spider-Man. Yeah, no big deal.
If Spider-Man is ever on a team again, I will quit comics.
Yeah,
he's got to stop being on teams.
He's
not a team guy.
And he's street level. I don't understand whose idea it was to use the guy that shoots webbing to go punch Thanos.
It's the same thing with some of the other characters who've been on this team before, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, okay, we've got Thor, and we've got Captain Marvel, and we've got all these normal Avengers that you've got on the team. Okay, we're gonna go take on who do we need? Daredevil.
Yeah. Yeah. I think once we're done our teams, we'll do some we'll shit talk some of the other people for sure, and go like, hey, this guy, no way. No way.
A very short list of never should be on the Avengers again.
100%. Doesn't make any sense. So my wild card, and you can 100% make fun of me for this, but I'm going to throw this one out there because I was thinking, okay, you need somebody, you need some representation. It's not just all about the US of A. I was thinking, okay, you need another strong person. You need somebody who's very smart. I was thinking, you kind of need somebody, if you're ever stuck in a jungle, can kind of help you track and get around. Like, if they get launched into another dimension or something, they have to try to track somebody. I thought somebody like that would be very interesting. I decided on Sasquatch from Alpha Flight. This is.
I thought you were gonna go like Khazar there for a second.
No, I don't even know who that is. I was like, no. Yeah, no. I want a Canadian on that team. The obvious choice, and even based on my description, you'd think it'd be Wolverine, but obviously Wolverine, again, another guy that just needs a break. Stop putting him on every team. Just leave him alone. I think Sasquatch is an underutilized character. He's super smart. Like you said, he's gone toe-to-toe with the Hulk. I think because of his power set, he adds that tracking skill that normally wouldn't. It won't come up all the time, but I think it'll come up when you need it. You'll need it a lot, and I think it'll be really useful. The other reason I want him on here is he's a gamma specialist. And it's been proven that the Avengers, for some reason, have to deal with gamma monsters all the time. So I really feel like having a gamma specialist would be really good on a team, which, again, you'd think would be the Hulk, but the Hulk's crazy. So I think you'd want somebody who's still is gamma specialist, but can still use their brain. And I think Sasquatch would be a really good pick for that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's my wild card.
That is an interesting one. I really can't. You kind of convinced me on that in the sense of like I like the fit, like the overall look you're going for is kind of like a United Nations version of the Avengers. Here's Canada's guy, the hairiest guy we have possible. Yeah. We'll send him down. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he's smart, scientist. He's got the gamma experience. He's certainly not. He's like the Hulk with a brain.
Yeah.
He's certainly got the strength portion there. I like it. I always liked him on Alpha Flight.
Yeah.
Which, if anybody of any importance in Marvel has ever listened to this podcast, please bring back an Alpha Flight team because it was such a great team. But no, I honestly, I cannot disagree with that pick. Outside of the fact that recent issues of the Hulk and where they've taken him, kind of dark and weird.
Yeah.
But I get where you're going with that. I really that one I can't really argue it.
I'm surprised. I'm genuinely surprised. I thought that was the one you'd laugh at me the most for. I was like, he's gonna be like, "What are you talking about? That's crazy."
I was fully expecting like Squirrel Girl or something.
Hey, don't tempt me. Part of me was like, should I have an all girls Avengers? I thought about that, but I was like, no.
Well, that would be an interesting team as well.
Yeah, which I think, didn't they do that one time? No.
They did it with the X-Men comic.
Yeah.
They had it was funny enough, they called it X-Men.
Yeah,
it was like a team of women.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my wild card. So what's your final one? What's your final one?
My final one is Spectrum.
Spectrum. Again, man, I feel like I'm failing because I who are these people?
So you'll probably see her eventually in the Marvel comics because she is Monica Rambeau.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I do. Yeah, I do know who this is. Sorry.
Now, maybe why you don't know her is because she's also gone as Pulsar, Photon, Daystar, Captain Marvel. What's another one? Scepter. And Lady of Light, which
oh my god!
Yeah, so we're talking like she's got some serious name issues. I hope they stick with Spectrum because it just makes sense. The fact that she can just turn herself into pure energy, she is like one of with just a single power set, probably one of the strongest Avenger members that they've ever had. But yet again. Let's just not dive into this character and really make anything of her.
Yeah. It's sad.
She got a connection to Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
She obviously was on the short-lived, but interesting team. I like the Ultimates. I like the New Age Ultimate version that they put out there. With Black Panther and Captain Marvel and whatnot. It was an interesting team. She was on that team. She's extremely powerful. Just yet again, another character that is just underutilized. Another strong, female. If you're looking for diversity, diverse character that they've just continued to sideline time and time again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah. Now that you say her real name, Monica Rambeau, I know who she is. Like you said, she has way too many names. Like, just pick a name, lady. Like, come on. But no, I think that could be it. I think, again, my issue is more of an issue with your team in general, where it feels like too many of them are American, and I feel like that may alienate, if you're trying to be like a Earth's mightiest heroes, it may alienate some people. But in the end, like Marvel thinks, New York is the only place that exists, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, and again, I was really struggling because I was like, you're gonna have how many female superheroes do I have on the team? Are people represent? And I did. I was like, all of a sudden, I was at like 27 Avengers, and I was like, okay, this is dumb. Yeah. And then I started going in and looking at power sets, and I was like, you know what? I just want a team that's like, if somebody were to, come forward with their little sign and, we want diversity, on our Avengers team, there is a little bit of diversity there, but ultimately it's like, we're not here for that. We're here to just smack down whatever horrible threat is coming at the Earth.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I got to put all this aside. I just got to take the best ones that I could think of that could just handle any threat outside of magic. It's dumb.
It's dumb.
So that they could have. Well, if Doctor Strange is doing his job, it shouldn't really be an issue.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So that's where I went. I went the same path as you. It was like, who are some mixed diverse, mixed Avengers that you could even bring onto the team that necessarily maybe weren't really on the team. I was even looking at some of the characters that are on the like the Russian version of the Avengers. As characters like, okay, how do you include everybody? And then I was like, scrap that. We're just going, powerful. Yes, sorry, all these characters, or the large majority of them, were written in the the 40s and the 50s, so they're all like white males. Yeah. But that's just the old man team.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we kind of we had the same goal, but we just went in it two different ways. Where yours was very much like, I have to defend Earth, so give me the strongest people of all time. Whereas I was like, I wanted to defend Earth, so I want to make it so all your bases are covered, whether that be like all the nations are represented or even all your power sets representative. So it's like you have just a giant shotgun and I have a Swiss Army knife. And we'll see which one wins against Thanos, right? Just shoot it. So let's run through our teams and just so everybody's clear on who's on whose team. So I'll go first. So my leader, I have Captain Marvel. For magic, I have Doctor Strange. For my Asgardian and also as a backup muscle, I have Valkyrie. For mutants, I have Jean Grey and also to add telepathy. For technology and for Wakanda, I have Shuri. And then as my wild card and to represent Canada, because go Canada, we have Sasquatch.
Excellent. Mine, Captain America, the leader, the strategist, the guy that kind of holds the rest of this motley crew of idiots together, is the first one. And then the rest are just pure powerhouses with Thor, Iron Man, Wonder Man, underutilized, Vision, Captain Marvel, who I really struggled with because I don't know, there's like something in me that just wants to like dislike her, but I keep putting her on every team.
She's too strong, man.
She's just, and Spectrum. And I did promise a bonus one.
Oh yeah,
which is, oh God, Captain America kicked off the team because yet again another powerhouse, Quasar.
Okay, so who the hell's Quasar?
He has I believe they're called the Quantum Gauntlets. Yet again another spacefaring powerhouse that would just add to this team, but it would be, I just looked at it and I said, if I don't have Captain America, even though like really like his only superpower is like doing the right thing, the rest of this team would be a mess.
Yeah, it's crazy how that's the most important aspect of your team.
That's really like he was off the team, and then I was like, I'm looking at the team, and I'm like, who's going to take charge here? All these people are going to argue with everybody.
Yeah,
I gotta have Captain. I gotta boot Quasar because I'd put him on some kind of space team. Yeah, and I gotta put Captain America back on.
That's funny. It's like, hey, even though you're the better quarterback, you need to go on the bench because you're kind of a dick, man. Like, let's go. No, that's pretty interesting. So, let's talk about some people that should never be on Avengers teams. Oh, like it makes no sense. So yeah, first off, like we mentioned earlier, Spider-Man. Spider-Man should not be on an Avengers team. That's stupid.
Never
like,
again.
Literally, he went to space and found an evil suit that now eats people's brains. The guy could not be trusted with that type of stuff. Irresponsible. And again, what's he gonna do? Web Thanos?
No, just I mean, the Secret Wars thing I can get because they kind of pulled all the superheroes, like even the first Secret Wars, they pulled all the superheroes away and put them on this planet. So yeah, like Hawkeye was there, and again I get back to Hawkeye and I'm like,
oh yeah, we'll talk about Hawkeye.
The guy could shoot arrows. Yeah, but Spider-Man again is like he just doesn't fit into any kind of team. He's just really, it's just like, hey, we have a really good Avengers team. We need somebody to laugh at. Let's bring Spider-Man onto the team. Because,
my booties.
Because he's funny, but we're also laughing at him because he's on the Avengers. Like he just has never fit on any team.
No. Like he
doesn't make any sense.
Like he's a great character. He has great stories, great like villains. Just let him be. He doesn't need more. Like he's fine. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous.
Let him be.
Let him be. And again, like you said, Hawkeye, Black Widow. Why are you on the team? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I just other than being that like from the movie standpoint, it kind of made sense because they're like, okay, they're like part of Shield.
Yeah.
The Avengers kind of broke out of Shield, so you got a couple Shield agents on the team to kind of watch over things, even though they really can't do much. Mm-hmm. But it kind of made a little more sense. But yeah, like I mean, who the hell's running around going like, man, do you know what we need? Somebody that's got arrows.
Yeah, somebody who can do a backflip.
Yeah, like, I just not to knock the character, I always looked at him as like a poor man's Green Arrow.
Yeah.
I just
think the Avengers, I thought about like, do we need an espionage member on the team? But I was like, no, that's not what the Avengers do. Like that's just a different team that should deal with that.
That was for the Secret Avengers.
Oh, there you go.
See, you got your espionage.
Espionage,
which I totally get behind. But yeah, just on the Avengers team, like I said, like what are you going to do? Galactus shows up.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Hawkeye? Other than like getting people, like if you're not busy running for your life on your own,
Yeah.
you're flying your flying moped and shooting arrows at Galactus. Like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean, they talked about it a little bit in Ultron, but it's like they talked about it, but they never proved why they needed him. It was like they talked about it, and then it should have been immediately. Okay, you're right. You're off the team. Like, why are you here? Like, please.
He never, like, I understand he's one of the Avengers. He's not a founding member, but he's certainly like one of those, like, those people that people, when they think of the Avengers, like, that's one of the people that comes to mind. But I just, for me, it was just I never got it. That's why I was on the same boat with kind of like Captain America to a degree for years. I was kind of like, I don't get this guy. Like, yeah, he's okay. He's got some super strength. He's speed. Like, he's the best human being possible. But that's it.
Yeah.
And he has a shield. So, like, I just didn't get it. From a leadership standpoint and an inspiration standpoint, I can kind of get it. But a lot of these some of these characters that have been on the Avengers in years past, I just it was just like, oh, we need 7 people. I'll invite that one.
Yeah, he can bring the pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just feel like there's so many, like, it's not that like you said earlier, it's like not that Hawkeye's bad, not that Black Widow's bad. It's just they shouldn't be on the Avengers team. It's the same thing with Spider-Man. It's the same thing with Daredevil. It's the same thing with Luke Cage and
Blade.
Blade. Why would Blade ever be on the Avengers?
Because you're fighting vampires.
Yeah, but
I don't like.
I guess
the thing I don't understand, like, but especially about that most recent run with the Avengers, it's like okay, so we gotta go get Blade. Because he can help our team that has She-Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Captain Marvel deal with some vampires.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
It's the most specific thing for him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
It's just not something that comes up often enough that you need him all the time. Like, it's just
Wolverine should never be in.
No, like I struggle with this in a little bit. Like, I can see why he would be a good Avenger because I feel like his power set's very utility based. Like, you can throw him in the sun, and he'll have a great time. And I feel like that is useful. And he also has a lot of experience. It's kind of like, to me, he's kind of like Captain America, which, like, he's actually been in battles and he kind of has a lot of experience. But yeah, I think he's just too intertwined with the X-Men to really be. And I guess you could say the same thing about Jean Grey, but I feel like Jean Grey needs a break and should go that. Wolverine also needs a break, but he should be a break altogether and just go on an island and hang out. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the overall fit, I guess, from looking at at the perspective. Like, you've got your Iron Mans, your Thors, your Hulks, but then all of a sudden you have like Wasp.
Oh yeah.
Okay, at least you got some power sets there. Then you got Hawkeye. But I mean, you also got to look at some of these Avengers teams back in the day when these people were actually on the Avengers. Like, the thought process was like very limited. It's just like, this guy's really good with a bow. And that was it, right? Where now, if you look at like a lot of these superheroes, they don't just have like one power. They have multiple powers that makes them, I guess, that much more useful and interesting. But I mean, like, some of the ones that have been on the team, before, like, you're saddling up next to people like Hercules. The Black Knight. Now, there is a difference, obviously, between the Black Knight and the Swordsman. But again, you've just got a mix of characters that in some places don't fit the mold. Like, these are Earth's mightiest heroes, and you have a couple human beings on this team.
Yeah. I think, what was it? Okay, so here I'm gonna pose something to you. Who causes the most problems for the Avengers? Iron Man, Vision, Scarlet Witch, or Hank Pym? Who's the most pain in the ass for them?
Wow. Who's caused? Okay, if you're talking like on a frequency level, I would say definitely Tony Stark, Iron Man, because he does just stupid shit all the time. Sometimes he just doesn't think through, some of the stuff that he does. But I don't think he's ever caused an issue on a level like the Scarlet Witch, like when she did when she was messing with everybody during Avengers Disassembled. Like, what a mess! Like, he took out the entire Avengers team.
Yeah,
right.
And yeah,
and then you have the legacy of Hank Pym, where you've got, okay, not only was he a bit of a weird character, it was just like it was like I kind of feel badly. He was like the punching bag to some degree. It was like, okay, this guy is going to have like a serious lack of self-confidence and self-worth. That he's, even though he's doing really amazing things, he just never feels like he's measuring up to anybody. And then they were like, that's not enough. Let's have him beat his wife.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, and then he has a psychotic break and becomes Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
And then he creates Ultron. And then it's just like, wow, like, what are you trying to do to this guy?
Yeah, like whoever made Hank Pym was like, I made him to hate him.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, like, considering his overall legacy of what he's done, I would say like Hank Pym has probably caused the biggest issues.
Yeah. Because
he created a supervillain who he's now merged with.
Yeah.
Who I think again is another underappreciated villain. I was so stoked when they came out with Avengers 2 and that was going to be the villain, and I just felt like they got the voice right. I was cool with that, but just the overall threat of him it really just didn't translate. And nobody's ever done, in my opinion, a good enough job with him to really show you exactly how dangerous he really could be in the right circumstance.
Yeah, Age of Ultron was more like a week of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, any last thoughts you had for Avengers?
It was an interesting process. I think the Avengers, especially with like I was going through and looking at like, okay, who has been on the Avengers, and I was pretty sure as I moved through, I was like, okay, yeah, I remember when that person was on the team and that person was on the team, and then it came across ones like Echo and Jocasta, and members that I'd never even thought about. Like another one I was heavily considering, but then I was like, this has got to be on a different team. Was like Nova.
Oh yeah, Nova was a possibility.
One of my favorite characters. It was just like it was amazing to scroll through and just see how many superheroes at one time or another have been on the Avengers.
Yeah, and
circulating through all that and going, okay, who is, depending on how you're approaching it, but actually narrowing it down to like 5, 6, 7 people was pretty tough. They've got a long history of a lot of characters being on that team, for some longer than others, but just an amazingly long list of cast members.
Yeah, and I mean they've even had multiple Avengers teams too, which even complicates it further. So
yeah.
So yeah, Avengers. I think it's definitely one of those things where it's like you want powerhouses and you want people who can get the job done, but you do need to keep track of the team dynamic. It's also very important too. So that was our take on the Avengers. Let us know in the comments who you think is right and who you think is wrong. And if you have any other ideas you think we missed, feel free to mention them in the comments. And feel free to follow the podcast if you enjoyed this style of format. We'll definitely try it again. Maybe we'll reach out to like best X-Men team or best Justice League team or something like that. I think that'd be pretty fun. Sure. So make sure to follow us on whatever platform you found us on, and we'll see you next time.